Everyone have a seat. Go ahead and take your shoes off. We're gonna get nice and comfortable.
Hey. My God. Oh. You want a phone cable? I'm good. Yeah, thanks.
Babe, I love you so much. I hope you know that, okay? Oh, it's happening. Take a deep breath. Oh, now my stink. Oh my God, it's coming out of me like lava. What? Oh. That's nasty. Oh, hell no. Hit the flat. Okay. Okay. Here, take one of these. This isn't the normal class.
Need a breath of fresh air?
It's better.
Own the air you breathe with Active Pure, designed to neutralize contaminants in the air in real time by eliminating up to 99.99% of pathogens.
That's right.
Those sound like good odds.
Enchiladas, man. I'm so sorry.
That's kind of where this one came. I wound up getting asked to DP this large project. At the time, I thought it was gonna be a large budget, all because it was a big budget. Come to find out, it's all these little pieces that have to come out of a larger one. Gotcha. And we needed scripts written and a director, and so I approached Natalie for this commercial because I thought it needed to have something to break it up because it was an air freshener. It was essentially an air purifier.
It's an air purifier.
It's an air purifier.
David knows if he calls me and asks me to do something like this, I say basically it's comedy or nothing. I won't write if it's not comedy because I'm not that good of a writer outside of comedy or something aspirational. Yeah. And for commercials specifically, like I would prefer to write comedy. And so they let me do that.
Yeah, and it is hilarious.
Yeah, no, it's a great piece.
We needed to push budget in different places. So I don't even think the FX9 was paid for on the shoot, because we were on so many different sets, so many talents, so much.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
It was a huge crew.
Yeah, how many scenarios was that commercial?
Well, it wasn't even the scenarios. We had so many deliverables that had to come out of it as well.
Yeah, it was. We had lots of videos that had to come out of it, aside from just the scenes from the comedy video. Yeah. We had several other videos, and I was trying to navigate. I try to be really thoughtful and mindful with budgets and making the most of time and location. And so I was trying to navigate a way to get multiple scenes out of one location, especially if we're at a house. It's really easy to do that. Yeah. And so I think all in all, that shoot for that probably took a day and a half or 2 days.
No, we shot 2 full days on that. And
but I think that was combined with stuff that we did for the other videos as well.
I can't remember.
But yeah, it was about
3
2
full days. There was a prep
production.
day, 2 full days, 2 very long days, multiple locations. It was a lot. We were able to do quite a bit of it in the house. The house that like everyone shoots at. It's like I don't even know how those people. I don't even know how those people live in that thing. I've shot at it like 6 times.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm shooting at it again in next month.
Really?
It's one of those locations.
Yeah.
But
I'm
we
shooting
make
like a
it
grocery
look
store
different
commercial
every
there.
time.
Yeah, we did. And it's funny, Natalie pushes stuff so far where there's like a
Be more specific.
It's like a diarrhea scene in it. What do we want to call it? Like a guy who's using the bathroom, and like for a commercial piece, you're just like, is this gonna, where's this gonna land?
Yeah.
It's
but that's
hilarious.
where you decide if sound is valuable.
Yeah, because like the commercial is about this air purifier, and that's how the whole piece starts off. Like Kelsey Probilski, who we work with a ton, she's a talented actress. She's like in this bathtub, and she's like turning off the water and pouring a glass of wine, and then her husband comes in, and he's got to use the bathroom really bad. And funny enough, that was one of the more difficult things to shoot, but it just wound up playing in our favor because the house was kind of under construction a little bit.
And the toilet was
movable. It wasn't
movable?
attached to the ground. It was just there.
So we could put it
next to the. We put it next to the tub, which that would never happen. You would never have a toilet near the vanity and the tub.
That's not true. In old houses,
It's
definitely
between
like
the
that.
vanity. Like you can't even get to the one sink because it's in the way, right? Like it's not going to be there. And the space is tiny. I think I shot that from the little dugout that is supposed to be where the toilet goes. And, and Kelsey, I don't even know what she was wearing. I think it was a bathing suit. We had to like fill the bathtub with like this milk. But we also poured like a whole 2-gallon of like whole milk in there to help cloud it up so that you can't see her.
Getting very cold in there very fast.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's one of my favorite parts in the like commercial. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
The enchiladas at the end gets me every
That was great too.
What about the location that has like a huge windows?
Yeah, the yoga scene.
The yoga scene.
Yeah, there's
I love
another.
That was a big day.
Another Pure Space location, I think. I don't know if y'all have used
It was
Pure
actually
Space.
it was someone's dining room. Traditionally, there's a
Really?
table, like a long dining table that's in that room.
I knew the vision that I had wanted for a yoga location, and it feeling very open and seeing into the outside. Yeah. And I had scouted a couple locations, but it was during COVID, and so some people were still weird about filming, especially with that size of crew.
Yeah.
And that scene had a lot of talent in it too. So there's a lot of bodies on set.
Well, we once again it had to serve multiple things. Like we shot other things in that house as well.
We shot some other little scenes for the other videos in that same house.
Yeah.
But
so that was big because we also didn't get a true tech scout day for that, and I was really busy at the time, and Natalie was too, and so we didn't even get to go visit those locations together.
Wow.
I remember she wound up sending me all these images, and I was like, here's the only way we're gonna be able to do it because our schedules just were not aligning. And I knew that we have this like telepathic way of just like kind of understanding, it's like just check them out, send me pictures. And I remember not being able to have any like kind of pre-light stuff with Keaton either. And Natalie would take these images and I would just tell her like, take one, this, and then I wound up just like drawing all over them on my iPad, and I just airdropped them to Keaton, so he would be pre-lighting the next thing while we were shooting the other thing, and he was going pure and simply off these, just pictures that I'm just like drawing, and they're just crap. They're just,
is that part of your process?
It's become a part of my process. Like it helps save time. Like not always do I do it, but when we have crazy schedules, like especially March is always like a really busy one because people do South by stuff and like big artists coming to town and everyone. I mean, March 5th through the 10th, I'm pre-light shoot, pre-light shoot. So it's all in 1 week. And so for some of those, people aren't here and they can't have time to come look at stuff. So it's been a good utensil. It's at least with gaffers. Now, I still have to kind of give them a little more direction when we get there, but it is kind of a nice tool that they can see where I want
and then
fixtures, because, we backlit the yoga instructor with an M18, and we wound up having to, like, pancake that thing into a tree outside just so you couldn't see it.
Okay.
Avery.
Yeah.
He was committed to that too. He was in an actual hot car and did not want air because he wanted to look sick.
Well, the worst part about it is that dude's not in the back seat. I'm back there. Right. And Avery's just coughing all over me, like throwing tissues at me, and we are so sweaty.
Robin, love her.
Oh, yeah, she's so talented. Her improv on that scene was fantastic.
I
love you just
I
yelling
found
stuff at her
BTS.
to like say.
I found that BTS yesterday.
So good.
Oh, yeah, and Tony's car that he let us borrow and shoot in front of his house.
How are you holding the camera in the back seat? Like,
it's on a hi-hat. So we have, it's on a fluid head on a hi-hat with sandbags everywhere. And so I just would break the head loose and kind of get what I wanted. And we shot on the Tokinas on this, and it's actually, I believe, on a 25 mil. Maybe on it's on a 25 mil. Yeah, I didn't want it to look
stayed on that the whole time?
In the car, yeah. So same thing, right? I'm also on the reverse shot of the guy in the back seat. Yeah. The hi-hat is in the front seat. And we would just stack up Apple boxes and then just take a motorcycle strap and kind of crank it and put some sandbags.
Good,
I actually have a picture somewhere of that rig. It was great.
It was very crammed in that back seat.
Yeah.
And it was no air conditioning.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because we recorded all the real sound too. So it was like Avery's mic'd up,
cool.
and so we didn't do any of it in post. It was all.
He was method acting, so David was also method filming.
Well, what's funny is his character, how he originally was supposed to play that, of what his accent and everything he built up for it, and I was like, oh my gosh, and then also we're like, we got to tone this down.
Yeah.
And he wound up just being Avery.
Yes.
As far as the wide and that the yoga scene, can you break down the kind of what you did there as far as
lighting wise or camera wise?
Lighting wise. Yeah, you said you had an M18 in the back, and then
I have to look at the
if you
image
remember.
again to see. I do remember it was an M18 that we basically like
said tuck
clamped on to.
What makes
the
we
tree
had
branch.
a smoke machine. Is that what made the glow?
No, well, yeah. I mean, we had a little bit of haze in
going.
there, but not a ton. I didn't want it to feel because you can get really carried away with haze really fast. That shot is hilarious because it is literally on an R2 because we didn't have the time in the day to take it off and put it back on. So I couldn't put it on sticks. So we would just stack apple boxes. So I got it at the height I wanted. And Brooks is pulling focus, and I'm actually on the R2 controls and following, between the shots.
that was the foot sliding over. Is
It took us, I think, like 6 times to get that. And then once we tried it once, we go, this is the movement we want. So we were dedicated to making it happen. And I'm not a gimbal op, right? So I'm like trying to figure out how to get that shot to work right. And getting it to land perfectly was so difficult because I don't run sticks on an R2 controller.
Yeah.
So
What about here? Do you have a light outside?
yeah, so if you see the treehouse there, right above the treehouse is a big.
That's an M18 you said?
Oh,
I think it's an
see.
M18. It may be something larger. I can't remember. I think it's an M18.
You have haze on the
Yeah,
roll.
we have some haze in there, and then camera right here. Well, on the frame right, it's just a massive wall of neg. So I think it's like
It was a
12
big-
foot by 20 foot because the other side is full of windows.
It was a
It's a
really big
kitchen.
neg.
Bring everything down.
Right, so it's like a kitchen island and all this stuff, and so huge windows, and the sun, believe it or not, is actually coming through those windows, so they would just like side lit all of them.
Yeah.
So we killed that entire thing, and then there's a couple of, just for fill on their shadow side, we added a couple tubes, and then there are a couple tubes in the top.
Yeah, I can see on his back there. There's maybe a little something above.
And then we had some backlight back there, and then we had a couple. I think it's an S60 outside to kind of help bring them up because, like I said, you can see that the sun is it's broad daylight, but you're not going to get a lot of that on them because the sun's actually coming from the other side.
Yeah.
So we put an S60 out there and kind of flagged it off to where it's not going to spill all over the window, but it would hit
Just
that,
kind of bring up the room in
bring up the room in general.
Yeah.
So, and then we would just fold the set in on itself kind of constantly. I remember when we do some of the tighter shots of Robin, we would have like a
walk
4
everything
by,
in or something.
just like fill on a duckbill. And
I
things
love
like that.
how intimate it looks. Like
Yeah.
it looks
Yeah,
like
go back
a
to the set, this art direction and everything.
Yeah.
It's just like everything. It looks the feel and the vibe of everything. Is so
I love
good.
that shot.
But it is
totally.
interesting to David's point, when it looks seamless, but especially when you're on a time crunch of a schedule and trying to shoot a lot of scenes in one day, you do have to move lighting around in between those tight shots and those wide shots, and that takes a lot of time,
Yeah,
even when they're like,
fine-tune.
it's going to take me 5 minutes.
Well,
no,
It never does.
That's
It never
kind of
does,
how I
yeah.
approach, at this point in my career, that's kind of how I approach, my lighting. I always want to build a master. So I'm like never thinking about one shot in particular. I'm thinking of like, if I were to just back completely out of this room for like a master wide, how are we lighting that? Like I want this ultra wide shot, and then I'll just fold everything kind of on micro adjustments, right? Because even when we folded that room in, we didn't fold any lights in. I think we had one extra tube, and then, like I said, like a 4 by, just like soft bounce, just like it was just a beadboard on a duckbill, and we would just do that, and it was made just getting all the shots after that so much easier because we had done like a master light, and so we do that on all these things.
Makes sense.
and it just saves a ton of time. So
It does, except for if you forget something or you want to get a pickup shot and then you all of a sudden have to change everything
pull everything
again.
back and reset.
Which I've also let go of some of the insert shots. I don't stress over insert shots as much anymore. I kind of let them be what they are, right? They don't have to be so meticulous. They live for a half a second.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the insert shots.
I mean, I love them too. I'm more there to service the overall project. So it's like I'm not gonna freak out if it's not exactly how I want it. It's like it's a half second insert shot, as long as it looks great as an overall part of this, right? So,
what about the bathroom scene? How did you go? What was your approach to lighting that?
Oh man, that one was difficult.
We have
I like the blue from the curtain, and
we have no space in there. Like
it's like pretty tight.
It's very short ceiling.
So
as well.
if you
it's a great freeze frame. That's amazing.
if you back it up, you can see the door that I'm in shooting this shot. So like to get that shot, we just got lucky because as he walks in, there's like the little restroom that's going to house that toilet when they get done remodeling. And I'm in there with a tripod shooting that reverse shot. So you can see the wooden door to his right.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm in
And
there
you were in
filming
there for the other
this shot.
Gotcha.
And what's funny is that shot, we're also on a hi-hat because we couldn't get sticks in. So I have a hi-hat on the counter with the fluid head to get him coming by. And it's basically lit with a ton of Cardellinis and tubes.
Gotcha.
I mean, we've got, and then Keaton, he's fantastic gaffer. He had everything on blackout. So we had, there was weirdly enough, there's like these wooden rafters kind of that were randomly in this almost like, it was a weird bathroom. So we had these wooden beams up there that were kind of all like they didn't even come to an apex, and we just Cardellini clipped, some.
So how lucky, because you actually see
like there's tile in the ceiling. I was about to say it, and I was like, I don't want to
yeah.
sound like an idiot because it wasn't. There's obviously not tile in the ceiling, but that's how I remembered it. Yeah, the ceiling was tiled, and so those wouldn't be. It was a really weird bathroom, and so we made the best of it. And like I said, we had to get everything out there because we have to use the entire space. So I can't have anything on the ground. And so it's all clipped in the ceiling, and it's just there's like 4 of them, and they're all and they have like little soft boxes on them and different things. They're all aimed different directions.
I'm pretty sure when we walked into that bathroom and you actually finally got to see it for the first time, you were like,
I panicked.
"Oh,
Yeah.
How are we gonna light this?
okay."
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like I said, your career is this accumulation of all the hardships you've had.
Yeah.
Because we can't see any lighting anywhere, and I have to use all the real estate in this. So fast forward, a year and a half later, I got hired to do a 1-take music video in Mexico, and we had to be able to shoot 360 degrees in this massive bar. So I can't have any stands. I can't have any C-stands, right? And so I was like, cool, I've done this before, right? We're just going to hang them in the ceiling. So we had 36 fixtures around. 36 fixtures bolted into the ceiling and on different parts of this bar to do this 1-take music video.
Wow.
And this is kind of where I was like, cool, we can do a lot of different things rigging wise, because I only had a gaffer on that one so I also just kind of key ripped that project. But this is my first time where I was like, cool, we're just gonna make whatever work, and so it resurfaces.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Kelsey.
That's great. What about the car scene here? How'd you go about lighting that?
Those are a couple. I think we have an S60 shot.
Just
There's some,
outside.
I think some A-by diffusion frames outside, and
just
then
really big diffusion
we folded in. There's like a tube. There's like a smaller tube in the passenger. It's kind of like tucked in there, and then Keaton kind of diaper wrapped some. I think it's like half grit or something over it.
Cool.
And just kind of softening that stuff up. So, because we couldn't do a lot of like negative fill and a lot of things because we shot such wide shots all the time. So I think it got really lucky with just the way when we planned to do it. Obviously, we looked at the street and where the sun would be and what direction we would park the car and how we'd face it. And we knew we needed to see street behind, Avery, and we needed to see house behind our backseat character. So we had to basically find a spot where we could park it and what time of day to make all those things
We
play.
parked it in the yard, I think.
Well, we got lucky. So it's in the front yard at the time. Because we did it, we did it in the
Popped the
afternoon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.